I've spent the last 5 years learning popping, locking, boogaloo, where it comes from, who we can kind of thank for what we do today.
Right.
I think it's one of the things that I'm most passionate about because
Absolutely.
I feel like it creates a whole nother type of passion when you can recognize the OGs and thank them for it and understand how much culture is underneath what we do as dancers.
What's up, guys? My name is Brazil, and welcome to the podcast. Today's episode is with world-renowned dancer, choreographer, / influencer, Taylor Hatala. The reason I wanted to bring this episode to you is because I've actually worked with her and her family since she was like 11 years old. I've seen her go from being a young, aspiring dancer, just moving to LA, to becoming one of the biggest internet sensations, touring the world with major artists, performing at every major award show, being on the Ellen Show, building her own audience with millions of followers, and just not only achieving artistic excellence, which by itself is incredible, not only achieving career success, which is also something that everybody wants to do, but she did both those things while remaining humble, while remaining kind and generous and being a down-to-earth spirit, which I think is very rare in the entertainment industry. As you know, a lot of child stars end up getting burnt out, they end up becoming sick of the industry or going just on a self-destructive pattern, which is something I'm so happy to see didn't affect her. You know, she was able to maintain just this genuine source of light and goodness, and I think it's just a beautiful story worth sharing. So if you're into that and you want to learn about the dance industry and how she was able to navigate it all, this podcast is for you. And also, I finally launched my Patreon, which is something I'm excited about. I've been doing this podcast for about a year where I interview all kinds of people in the industry, choreographers, filmmakers, music producers, comedians, and I just share the journey of what it's like to becoming a professional creator from people that are actually doing it. So if you like that and you like these interviews and you want to support the show, please click the link below, join the Patreon. You'll get early access to some episodes and some exclusive behind the scenes work and some Q&As with some people as well. It's really a lot of value. So if you're into that and you want to support the show, thank you so much. But in either case, even if you don't join the Patreon, there are tons of interviews on this channel on YouTube full of value. So please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, turn on the notifications so you actually see the new episodes as they come out. I have full new interviews every week on Monday and some clips in between that. So thank you so much. I appreciate all the support. And here is my interview with Taylor Hatala. Taylor Hatala.
Yeah.
What is your experience of life this very moment today?
I mean, I've been through a lot and I'm here now. I don't know. I'm dancing still full time. I've been dancing my whole life. I'm acting a lot more now. I'm singing. I'm modeling a lot more. So I've kind of become this entertainer now, which I love because I love how I've been able to create and take my creativity along all these different avenues.
Yeah.
So that's my experience right now as of today, where I am and what I'm doing career-wise.
Right. It's so many kids that grew up in the entertainment industry, a lot of times they can fall out of love with creating when they get to a certain age, but it seems like you're getting even more passionate about it now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone has up and downs, especially in the creative industry, as you said, especially when you've been doing it for so long and for so many years. But I feel like because I have explored different avenues, that has helped me to keep my passion and my love, because when dance got frustrating, I could focus on acting and I would prioritize that. And then that would spark my inspo again for dance, and I'd come back to dance and be able to create more, create better, improve. So it's kind of been nice, and I've used that as a tool to help keep that passion always in me.
Yeah, because then we don't take it for granted. We don't get too burnt out on something because you get to exercise a different muscle, because different arts require different skills, right?
Yes.
Different perspectives.
Exactly, yeah. So I've always used that to keep me inspired and creating.
Now, what role has your family played in this? Because I've known you and your family for many years. But for those who don't know, how important was your family to this whole process?
My family is everything to me and has always been everything. As many people know, I feel like just as you know, my family has been there since day one, literally. Since I started coming out here from when I was 10 years old, they've been here every step of the way. When I went on tour with Janet, My mom quit her job for me. She came with me. My dad stayed at home with my little sister, Rhys.
Wow.
And so they've always been 100% full on there for us through me accomplishing every dream and every goal I've ever told them I've wanted to. So it's been amazing. I couldn't have done it without them.
That's a big move. She quit her job to go on tour with you.
Yep.
How was that experience, going on tour with Janet Jackson?
Going on tour was mind-blowing. I was so young. I was 12, and then...
You were 12?
12 years old, yeah. And then the second tour, I was 14, so it was about 2 years each. But it was incredible. My favorite thing as a dancer is performing on stage. I just love it. I love performing for a crowd, getting to experiment and explore on stage. So I was able to do that every single night for like 50 plus shows. So it was amazing. I loved every second of it. It was definitely an experience that had a lot of downsides too, just because I was so young and I was away from family, and it was like you're living on a bus. It was just like a shock. But it's made me the dancer, the person, the creator I am today, and I couldn't be more thankful for it.
For sure. And everything has a price, right? Like when you're being on the road, you get to see a lot, but you don't have any consistency. It's just like what state are we in today? Right?
Yeah. Like people ask me all the time, like, so where have you gone to? Like, especially around North America. And I'm like, everywhere, I think. Like it was just so quick. So go. And we were in there for like a day, perform, drive all night. You're in a new place. So it was very like you said, where am I?
And what was your first time meeting Janet? What was that like? What was her vibe?
So the first time during the auditions, we didn't know what it was for.
Really? They just said you're auditioning for some artist?
Yes, some big artist, and everyone's guesses were like a residency in Vegas for an artist.
Okay. And
then it was, I think the second audition, she was on call. And we didn't know, but Gil was in the room. We knew he was her
you were
choreographer.
Picking up some clues. You're like, wait a minute.
Right. So we were all like, I think it might be Janet. And then I actually got called out to do a solo, which was amazing. And we actually, Kendall and I, who ended up booking the tour, we actually got cut.
Really?
Yeah. So
Both of you?
Yeah, we were cut. And then they called us back an hour later and were like, can you come back actually? We just want to see you again. And we ended up booking it. The first time we figured out it was Janet when there was all 9 of us, so us 2 kids and then the 7 other women in the room. And Gil just said, you just booked Janet Jackson's world tour. And we're all like, wait, what? Like, I think it was like, I can't even like recall that moment because it was just, we were like, oh my gosh, like our dreams are coming true right before us and we had no clue. And then meeting her was in rehearsals, when we started rehearsals. And obviously I was nervous. I was such a fan. Like I look up to this iconic woman as a young girl dancer my whole first years of dance. And she just immediately came in, was super sweet. She's like the mom. She just has this gentle, loving, like welcoming presence.
Yes.
And she continued like that throughout the entire tour, especially with us kids. She always made us feel included. She would make sure we're always okay, we're doing okay. So she was very loving, and she was one of my favorite artists I've ever worked with to this day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's nice when you get to meet somebody and they're actually as nice as you hope they are. Right. Because that's not always the case. And that's great to have that experience and to have your mom there too.
Exactly. And of course she grew up on Janet too. So she's fangirling. Well, we're fangirling. So it was awesome. But
that's incredible.
Thank you.
Wow. Now, were you homeschooled at that time?
Yeah.
I mean, you had to be for the tour, but prior to that, were you homeschooled already?
No. So I went to public school, kindergarten through grade 6. Grade 7 was my first year on tour, which was the change.
That's trippy. Imagine on 7th grade, like, sorry guys, I can't come into school next month. I'm going on tour with Janet Jackson.
It was crazy. And I never like imagined myself being homeschooled. I don't know why. It was just like I never imagined myself. And so that was a huge change as a kid. It's like you have a tutor, of course, and we had lovely tutors while we were on tour, but you're also kind of teaching yourself. So it's like you sit in the bus, you do your 5 hours plus of homework, and then you go for tech run, and then you have dinner, and then you're on stage, and then you repeat the next day. Like it's a crazy lifestyle. But yeah, grade 7, and then grade 8, I actually went back to school. I was in school for grade 8, and then grade 9, second tour comes, and I'm back homeschooled.
So when you went back to school in grade 8, did the kids treat you differently?
Luckily, no. I'm from a pretty like small community. Everyone kind of knows, and so
What part of Canada are you from?
So I'm from Alberta. It's like the west side. It's near like most people know like Vancouver, right? So it's near there. Okay, it's province over ish, yeah. But it's a small little city, and so everyone knows everyone. Everyone's kind of connected in some way, and they were just so familiarized with me that they were always the same, and they like were very understanding. They were very supportive. I grew up very blessed with the friends and family I had. It was as normal as they could make it for me, which was nice. Yeah. So
is there a noticeable difference in the vibe between the people your age back home and here?
Yes.
What's the difference?
I think that it's just a lot of it, I think, honestly, is like work ethic, because every kid out here, I don't know, a lot of us have dreams and these passions that we're all going for, at least my friends that I've made out here in LA. Yeah. And so it's very motivating to be around them and very inspiring, because all of them have this amazing goal or dream that they're accomplishing. Whereas back home, because it's more of a smaller town, like it's kind of like you go to school, you graduate, maybe take a year off to work at like a restaurant, and then you go to school again. It's very like, I don't know, regular, like a normal lifestyle, I guess. So they're very chillaxed. They don't really, most of them don't have their lives like as figured out as I feel like us young adults do here. We're like trying to figure it out. We're always like trying to be 5 steps ahead of what the kids back home or young adults back home may be.
Did that make it harder to relate with them back home?
Yes, I would say so. I think even like with my friends now, my close circle of friends, they get it, because I've been friends with them now for like over 10 years. They've seen me go through it all. But I think for other kids, they just never got it, because I would be the kid who would be like, well, I can't go to your birthday party. Sorry, I have dance till 1 a.m. Like that was, and I wanted to be at dance. I wanted to train. Yeah. And they just wouldn't understand, because they're like, how can you miss a birthday party? Like, and I'm like,
it's like, how could you miss rehearsal?
Right. No, right. Yeah. So that's how I've always been. So it's been, a little tricky relating to some of the kids back home.
Same, because for me, when I grew up, when I was that age, 12, 13, I was at the skate park. I'm a skater. Yes. And all my friends at the skate park were like in their 20s. So for me, it was normal to be traveling, filming. I'm like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Because my peers were all making skate videos and selling T-shirts. Right. And then I would go back to school to hang out with the other 12-year-olds. Then I'm like, well, you guys aren't starting companies? What are you doing?
Right. No, right? Exactly.
It was kind of a weird trip, because I always felt like I was the young one with the older kids. You know? So I never got to relate a lot to people my age, right? So then I felt that because my parents moved around so much, because they were both dancers. I don't know if you know, they did ballet.
I did not know that. No way.
Yeah. You know the Joffrey Ballet in Chicago?
Yes.
My mom was the ballet master of the company. Yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yeah. Wow. I grew up around it. But before we got to the Joffrey, we went to so many different companies in America that I changed school every year. Right?
Really?
It was like an army brat, basically. So I never got to be consistently friends with anybody in school, because I was always moving. But in the arts,
you could.
Yeah, I could hang out with my skater friends or my musician friends, or you know, it's a different world.
It is.
Not to sound bougie about it, but there's like artists and there's like normies.
It is.
Unofficially, but there kind of is. It's two different things, right? Yeah. And I think in the world of normies, it's about making it all happen right away, like knowing exactly what you want to do, getting the degree, getting married, getting the house, getting the kids, doing all checking that program, right? And I think the artist world is more about sacrifices up front.
Yes.
Right? Like in your case, and in my case, it was like sacrificing a lot of the childhood stuff. But you're still being a kid. I mean, it's still fun. It's not like it's not fun to be on stage.
Yeah, right.
Right? Right. Or when people move to LA and they like, couch surf for months and months to like save up money to one day get a gig. It's a different kind of commitment.
Oh, for sure. I love that you said it's the sacrifices up front, because it totally is. That's the one thing I think for artists, / entertainers, yeah, it's just all sacrifices that we like. We just live off of making sacrifices to survive. Like,
right. It's
literally.
It's because we have this passion for the actual doing of it, right? Like I know for Christmas, most of the time I would want equipment. Right. I just want to make more art.
Yes.
You know,
right.
I want to do more of my stuff. You know,
Yes.
even this last year when me and Janelle launched the Naughty Girl Fitness business and that started doing well, then the money I got from that, I said, I want to make more stuff now.
Yeah, right.
Like I didn't want to stop working, you know, I just wanted to create more, have more freedom with what I want to create.
Right. Yes.
What are your goals moving forward?
I think for me, so I am actually moving to Vancouver, and that's in January. I would love to be out here. So that's like my later plan, but Vancouver first, just because it is still close to home. I'm still young. I'm 19. I guess that's kind of young.
Yeah.
And so I'm moving out there and I'm starting in acting school. So that it's been hard for me because obviously dance is my passion. It's always been. But I also found that I have this passion for acting that I really want to fuel. I want to learn more about. I want to see where it can take me. And so I'm going to be prioritizing that in school. And then I will also, I'm hoping to do more videos and create more content on foundation of dance and its history.
Yes.
Because I've spent the last 5 years learning popping, locking, boogaloo, where it comes from, who we can kind of thank for what we do today.
Right.
I think it's one of the things that I'm most passionate about.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like, I don't know, it creates a whole nother type of passion when you can recognize the OGs and thank them for it and understand how much culture is underneath what we do as dancers. And like, it's very cool too, to even understand the differences from like the 70s when funk was created to today and the new styles that are coming out. So I would love to talk more about the history to make kids want to learn it. And
that's really age. Awesome. I bet the OGs will be happy to hear that because they're always saying, man, these kids don't know the foundation.
Right.
But it's true though. They know. Yeah.
Right. So I just want to, spread it and I want to spread it and create it.
believes in it.
Right. Exactly. But I just want to share it in a way that can make kids excited about it.
Yeah.
And them want to learn it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's a different expression when you know the root of it.
Yes.
Right? Like hip hop isn't just steps. It was a form of expression from a certain group of people in a certain place and a certain time.
Yes.
When you know all that, then the intention of how you're and why you're hitting it is different.
Exactly. And even just for me, training in those foundation styles has like improved my level as a dancer like tremendously.
Right.
Because it teaches you different ways to move your body. It gives you a different bounce, a different rock behind your step. Yeah. Like it's done wonders for my freestyle, especially because now I have like all these other styles I can pull from.
Right.
My choreo too. So yeah, I really believe in training your foundation style.
And that's probably going to help out with your dancing too. I mean, with your acting too, because acting is also how to use your body as well. Being able to evoke the feelings physically.
Yes.
It's not just memorizing the lines.
No, exactly.
It's believing in the thing that you're saying.
Right. And justifying it. And it's just that super pure belief in what you're doing. So I feel like, that'll definitely help.
Yeah. Who are some of the most impactful teachers you've had that you would like to mention?
Ooh.
So many.
So many.
Is there like one or two that stand out to you?
I feel like I always should give thanks to Alexander Chung because he was my mentor for years. He's the first person to bring me out to LA to introduce me to these amazing choreographers and teachers and kind of show me my way around. So he's been like my main teacher that I'll always recognize because I feel like I have so much thanks to give to him. He made me the dancer who I am today, basically. And then also I would like to give thanks to Locke. So he is a teacher from back home, actually, in our little city. Yeah. But he's the reason why I have studied and trained in foundation. He goes around to the OGs. He trains. I've never seen a teacher train as hard as him.
Like a teacher go take lessons.
Yes, and like hours and hours spent sitting down with these OGs, asking about the history, learning it, like training till he can't walk, like that kind of training. And then he's taught me that and passed that on to me and many other kids. So
he absorbs it
Yes, exactly.
From the best to then share it with you guys.
Yes, which is amazing because like the fact that he's going out and of course he's doing it because he loves it too, but for the kids to share that from the best of the best, like it's amazing. So I have to give thanks to him as well.
Yeah. So interesting, right? How like the impact of a good teacher.
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't be the person I am, the dancer I am, the entertainer I am without those amazing teachers along the way. Like,
and now you have the passion to want to share it, right? Because I forgot where I read it, but it said the only purpose of learning something is to share it.
Right.
And then also when you focus on being able to teach, you probably learn it better too.
Yes.
Right, because you have to internalize it enough to pass it to somebody else.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And I feel like as I get more into teaching, and I've taught over the years, but really focusing even more now and teaching a lot more, it's when I learn, I'm noticing I'm doing that more. It's like I'm absorbing it so much more because I want to be able to share it and not just like remember bits and pieces. No, I want to remember like every detail, when, where, how, why, and just so I can share it. So because
otherwise we're thinking I only need to learn what I need.
Yes.
But once to teach somebody else, it's like, well, they might need all of it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I always thought that why don't they have kids in school as part of a graduating of a grade is you have to teach the grade below.
Oh.
Right, to make sure that you got it. Right, like to see if you really learned the geometry. Great, teach that to the next group down. Yeah. Because then they would remember it more. I know. Because it's like, why do you have to have a PhD to teach third grade? You know what I mean? Right. Something where it'd be nice if there was some kind of practice. I guess they have mentors in school. Some people do like... Yeah,
but I mean, I get what you're saying. Because even for me, for tests, the way I'd study is I would try to like reteach it to my parents. And they don't know, right? They're like going over the notes that I wrote. But it would help me remember because if I could teach it, I could do it, you know?
Yeah.
So...
It makes a difference for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Tell me about your relationship with your sister.
She's my best friend. I love her.
We're talking about Rhys, of course.
Yes, Rhys. We've been dancing together now basically our whole lives. She started dance around 3. I started dance around 3. She's 3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
We have kind of created this brand called Hatala Sisters. A lot of people, especially now that we've grown up a little bit more, think we're twins, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, we train together. She's also trained in the foundation style, so we create a lot of fun content like that together. She helps me with choreo. She's usually assisting me. I swear that when we've freestyled before, and it's like telepathy, because I'll freestyle like a count of 8 and she'll do the exact same count of 8 and it's a freestyle. Wow. It's like
there's some unspoken synchronicity there.
Exactly. We've just been dancing together for so long that it just works like that. So we love creating together because obviously we get each other.
Yeah. Has it ever felt forced, you two working together, or is that something you naturally wanted to do? Like,
it was natural. It's because we love dance so much that even on our off time, we were obviously dancing and creating. And when I was creating, she'd want to jump in and join or jump in and help. So It was never forced. It was always very natural and felt right.
That's great. It must be nice to have that. That companion, because family is a certain safety to it as well, right? Because friends come and go, industry people kind of come and go, but the fact that your sister is a part of the journey as well. It's
awesome. I have so much like help and support, like right beside me if I need. I'll be like, Rhys, do you like this move, like in my choreo, or is it bad? And she'll be honest. She'll be like, it sucks, or like, no, I like that, or maybe we should try this. So it's helpful to have a second opinion always right there, who I trust.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I find it awesome that you're moving to Vancouver before LA.
Yeah, my end goal is LA. I love it out here. I feel like there's so many opportunities, but I have been working a lot more in Canada just ever since the pandemic. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of different opportunities emerged out there.
Yeah.
So, it's taken me a lot to Vancouver. There's a lot of film out in Vancouver because it's cheaper to shoot there than here actually. So a lot of the films that are being created here end up filming out there.
You just fly down whenever you have an opportunity anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I teach down there. I love the atmosphere down there. So that's kind of why I decided I'm going to go there. I'm going to do this school thing. And there's a lot of film, so I'm going to learn as much as I can out there. And then hopefully be able to end up here and use it here.
Yeah.
So
I like that you're doing it in that order, because sometimes if you get too wrapped up in the world here, you forget that there's also real life.
Yes.
Out in the normie world,
right?
There are still regular people to connect with, not that they're just regular, but you know what I'm saying,
yes,
right? Like
yes.
the non-entertainment industry folk, right?
Right.
And the fact that you're still coming down for opportunities, but you're taking your time to learn. You're taking your time to build a foundation. That's nice. You're not sacrificing one for the other.
No, and I feel like that's what COVID kind of taught me. It was like, whoa, because I had been traveling so much. I was so busy right before COVID and the pandemic hit that when I got a second to sit at home, I was like, oh, right, there is this life outside of what I was doing before.
Right.
And of course I love like this life. It's a lifestyle and I love it. But it gave me time to kind of go back to square one and see like, what can I improve on? What can I train in dance? And then that's kind of when I started like, oh, maybe I should start singing because it can be a good tool for me to use. And then I found my passion for acting. And so it was nice. COVID obviously messed a lot of things up in people's lives, I feel like.
Right.
But one positive I've been able to take away is realizing that there is a world outside of LA and the dance industry and the entertainment industry, and that it is important to take those breaks and work on your craft and come back and you'll be 100 times better for it.
Yes, refreshed, re-inspired, reignited. Because sometimes we get stuck in a pattern.
Exactly.
You need to break that pattern, try something else.
Right. Yeah.
And the fact that we can work remotely. I think that was a revelation that we all had. Like, wait a minute, we can actually be at home for a lot of this.
Right. No, exactly.
Brazzy, he
got
wants
your
some
toy.
attention now.
Oh, you're so cute.
Where are your dogs now? Are they back home with Chad?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're back home chilling with him. Our one we got only like a few weeks ago. So yeah, I would say about a month ago now. So he's young.
What kind of doodle is it? You have a couple?
So yeah, I have a miniature sheepadoodle. He's our older one. He's about 3 years old. And then I have a miniature bernedoodle.
What's a bernedoodle?
That is
I feel like they're just making up names at this point. Yeah.
No, it actually feels like that.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
It does. So a bernedoodle is a Bernese mountain dog and a poodle.
Okay.
And then a sheepadoodle is a sheepdog and a poodle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never heard of those. For the longest time, I thought tiramisu was a dog breed.
No.
Because, there's Bull Terrier and then there's Shih Tzu. So I thought tiramisu.
That's
plausible.
Honestly,
I could see it. A bernedoodle and a tiramisu. They sound basically the same to me.
Honestly, I could see how you could believe that. But
right?
No.
Are there any cool Canadian slang words that you don't see people using out here?
I don't know about cool. I mean, Toronto has I feel like they have a big difference in their slang from like East Coast and West Coast in Canada. Right. But I mean, we have a bit of an accent, like when we say price tag, tag and bag. And instead of sorry that you guys say, we say sorry. Sorry. Like I'm sorry. Yeah. And our about is a little bit more pronounced. I feel like about. Yeah.
Well, the sorry that you guys say sounds nicer.
I've always thought that
feels weird.
No offense. Yeah. But to me it sounds like oh sorry. Sorry.
It has that vibe. It has that vibe to it.
Exactly. Whereas sorry's sorry.
Yeah, it has a sense of passion to it. It's I'm truly
I'm sorry. Yeah. No, exactly. But yeah, and then other than that we say washroom instead of bathroom, which I don't hear a lot around here.
Right.
We say I forget. Do you guys say bill or check? Can we get the check?
It's kind of interchangeable.
Okay. Because when I was here last, everyone was making fun of me for saying, "Can I get the bill?" They were like, "Ask for the check." I was like, "Can I? What?" I was like, "Really?" So I don't know. There's a few little words that people are like, I see it. You're Canadian," and I'm like, "Yeah."
There it is.
Right. Exactly. But
who do you look up to?
Oh,
in any sort of way. I know there's so many. This is a wide question, but just give me examples. People that you like, that you aspire to be like.
I mean, definitely my parents. I feel like they've, like I said, have always been my rock, my number one. They're very different people, which I love. My mom's the organized one, and my dad's the go with the flow, chill, doesn't really care what happens kind of guy.
Yeah.
But both of them have shown me what it's like to be extremely kind, giving, just beautiful human beings. And so I take a lot from them, and I always will look up to them just because of the human beings they are.
They are really wonderful.
They are. I mean, I don't like to brag, but I love them. And they've been my number one supporters, which I am incredibly lucky to have, because I feel like, especially in the dance industry, it's not a normal career that people go to. So that it's very easy for parents to be skeptical of it. But the fact that since day one, when I'm like, I want to be a dancer, they're like, yeah, we'll make that happen for you. Like,
they were supportive and protective, but not in the way ever.
Right.
Like, all my years I've shot videos that you were in, they were like, I could tell that they had your best interest in mind and they were protecting you, but they weren't the overbearing parents. They were like, chill to connect with. And either it works or it doesn't. Yeah.
Which, I've been blessed with. And now that you say that, I've never actually thought about it that way, but I've never felt like, I don't know, I never felt like they intruded, or that I was like, oh my gosh, can you let me breathe? Like, back up a little bit. They've given me, like, always the perfect amount and balance of being protective. And even now, especially as I get older, I feel like they're very good at letting me figure things out for myself. And then, of course, giving me their opinions, but still being very good and balanced about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Chad and Teresa.
Yeah.
Man, no, you guys really are very sweet. You know, I think sometimes there's this thought that you have to be mean or cutthroat to make it in this business. And I think it's the opposite. Honestly, I think it's when you're loving and giving. There's a difference between being nice and being naive.
Yes. Right.
You can be nice and smart.
Yes, exactly. I think that's because I feel like every time and anyone starts out in the industry, you're always a bit naive at first. And I might be wrong, but at least I felt like for us, because it was so two different worlds, small town world, and then you come here. And so you're naive. It's hard to say no to some opportunities, and then you figure out that they don't know your worth as well as you thought they did.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest thing I've learned, and my whole family has learned, is you can still be nice and you can still be great people, and you don't have to be cutthroat or mean or rude. You just have to be smart about it. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to know your worth, but you don't have to be rude or mean or disrespectful about it.
Yeah.
You be polite, you be respectful. You just, know your worth.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, but very true.
Right.
Nonetheless.
Right. Yes.
Is there a particular learning lesson, aka mistake, from your career that you particularly want to share? Something that you think would be valuable for another up and coming dancer or artist?
I don't know if I would say mistake, because I'm a very firm believer in, like, everything happens for a reason. I think that some of the best advice I could give to any creative person out there in the industry or trying to pursue a career out of it is to just be yourself. And that's so cliche and cheesy, but there are people who will make you feel like yourself is not enough and that you need to change. You don't. You are there for a reason. You are here for a reason. You have this creativity in you that needs to be shared and needs to be shared for a reason. So if anyone is ever telling you that you're not enough, and there's a difference between constructive criticism and blatantly being rude and telling you and trying to knock you down and make you lack self-confidence. And I've been there. I've been at the lowest point where I'm like, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, they obviously don't think I'm that good. So why am I on this job? Why am I booked for this?
You've had those experiences where people have made you feel that way.
Yes, very much so. And I think
explicitly, I mean, just in the way they acted?
I would say, honestly, a bit of both. Like, I think I've been in situations where it's been pretty blatant and harsh, and it's like you can't ignore it. Right. And it's also built up over time with the way people act.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, especially through COVID, that's when I sat down and I was like, there was still a bit of like that lack of self-confidence in me from those experiences that happened when I was a little bit younger. And I kind of sat down and was like, okay, let me figure this out. Why do I feel this way? Why did these people do that? biggest thing I've learned, honestly, is that you don't know why people do what they do. You just have to believe in yourself, especially in an industry like this, where it is so cutthroat, where it is harsh, where people will do stuff just to literally knock you down.
Right.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to know, if you believe in what you have inside you and what you want to share, it's going to be good enough to share it because you believe in it and you love it and you're passionate about it. So it's going to be good enough, and someone needs what you have to share.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially because it gives a layer of authenticity.
Right.
It's so hard to predict what I think other people are going to like. Like, you know, for a long time, I used to separate even the side of me that's like a skater. That used to be like a separate thing from me making videos and all that. And recently, I've just been sharing it. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I'm at the skate park. I'm here with my buddies. And it's just, and it's funny. Those clips now are doing better than so much of my other work. It's same thing with the podcast. I'm like, oh, you guys like me being me?
You're right. No,
what
exactly.
a concept.
And like, like you said, you may hide that for so long because you're like, oh, but people only like this. You actually have no clue what people like. And so I feel like every person likes something different and every person likes something. So
yeah. And they don't even have to like the thing that you like. They just have to like that you like it.
Right.
Right. Like there's people that I follow that really enjoy like jujitsu. I respect it. I've never done it.
Right.
I don't have an interest in it. I don't care who's the world champion, but I follow these people and they have such a passion for it that I'm like, you know what? It's interesting to watch them. To see how much they love this other thing and what they draw from it. You know, it's passion is authentic.
Yes.
And attractive as a human quality. Mm-hmm. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Yep. What kind of challenges do you see people your age in the industry dealing with?
Ooh. I think it's growing into a young adult is very confusing in this industry just because you're obviously categorized as like a kid. You do jobs that are more for younger people, young adults, and then all of a sudden you're not a minor anymore and you can be booked for these big jobs and these jobs that may be a little bit more mature, but you're still like, you feel like a kid, but you're an adult. So I feel like like right now, honestly, can be the most confusing time. Just finding what you want out of jobs, not even where you fit in, but just what feels right for you, I feel like. And so I think that's the biggest thing right now that I'm noticing, and that I see other, like the kids I grew up with and trained with and have done jobs with. It's just like finding where we fit in and what jobs feel the best for us. And yeah, it's just figuring life out and career out as a young adult, basically. You
know, because it's trippy, because I know when we're kids, we have this urge to want to be grown-ups, right? Like, I can handle it. I'm a grown-up, right? Yeah. And then it's funny because now, you know, that I'm like in my mid-30s, and I have like older friends that are like, no, we need to be more like kids again. We need to go play in the park, and we need to like go back to doing the stuff that we used to do. And it's just like we're having like painting nights, I love that. Coloring nights. It's like, what? We're doing it's so interesting because it's like there's no rule that says you have to, like, just because you became older that you have to go crazy. Right. Or that you have to stay doing kid stuff. Right. You kind of just have to figure it out, like what. Yeah. How do you want to express yourself? Right. Yeah. And that's, the biggest thing. Right. Because usually a lot of times you have kids that grow up like being like Disney kids. Yes. That then grow up to be like total opposite. Like let them to be a rebel. Right. Right. And you haven't hit that phase yet. No, I guess not. And I honestly, I don't think I ever will. You got the ink though. I know. That's nice. What does that say? This one says breathe. It's a rose for June. And then breathe is like, used to be my word, still is. And then I have this apple, and my mom has a tree. And it's because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Oh, I love that. Yeah. And then I have one more. I like it when tattoos are linked up. Yeah. And then I have one for my sister on my ribs. It's from our brand, Force of Nature. And it says, lightning strikes twice. So, yeah. I like that. Thank you. That's cool branding. Yeah. I was like, I can't get too many just for jobs and stuff. And I'm okay with that. I don't want too many. Like, this is good enough for me. I think I want. You could cover that up. Right. That's relatively not too much. No, makeup. Like any job I've been on where they cover it up, it's pretty quick. It's like 5 minutes. Yeah. But yeah, I have one for me, one for my mom, one for my sister. I want one more for my dad, and then I'm done. That's it. That's it. Yep. Unless they have another. Honestly, I hope not. Right. But I think they're slowly replacing us with dogs. Like our whole family. My cousins, my aunts and uncles were super tight. And all of us cousins are over 16 now. Rhys is the youngest.
And we have, I think, 8 dogs in our family.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they've all just
in
replaced
your house?
us. Not in our house.
Okay.
No, between 3 houses. We have my aunts and uncles. They have 3 dogs. My other aunts and uncles, 3 dogs. Us, 2 dogs. And it's the exact amount of kids. They've just replaced us now. So yeah, it's just all dogs.
Dogs are such great companions.
They are.
They really are. He was the first dog I ever had, and I didn't know that they had such personalities.
I love how he's just passed out.
Like, they're like little people.
They are.
They get jealous. They ask for stuff. They're sneaky. Like, he knows how to open doors. Okay. Okay. Okay, down, Brazzy.
You just wanted to come speak, didn't you? Oh, he's so cute.
Right? He's like,
yeah,
yes,
I am.
you understand me.
Oh, he's so
I used to watch like the cartoons that they would have where animals would be animated.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, they're exaggerating.
Right.
No, they really,
this is them.
They have thoughts. They really
Right.
or if they do something bad, like the other day, he scratched the couch. And when I saw it, I said, Brazzy. And then he went and laid on top of it and was just trying to be nice to me. He was like, trying to hide the thing. He knew exactly what I was talking about.
They're smarter than we give them credit for, I think, for sure.
And you know what? I was thinking about this, like why it feels good to have a dog for me.
Yeah.
Is because a lot of times when I'm like giving him love, it's because love is a verb to me. It's something I do. Right. And yes, he gives me love sometimes, but really it's the fact that it feels good for me to be giving it.
Right.
When you rub a dog, you're like, okay, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? It's because love is coming through me to them. And I think dogs are great receivers of love.
Yes, they are. They very much are.
They will never turn down an opportunity to receive some attention or whatever.
And they usually love everyone and just want love from everyone. So that's so easy to give love to them, especially because they're cute.
Because just like art, right? Like it feels good to make the art.
Yes.
Even though it's work.
Right.
Like it takes work. It's hard work. It's hard on your body, hard on your mind. It's effortful. But it feels good. You crave to put in effort.
Yes.
To do the dance.
Right.
To do the movie or the or whatever it is.
To make it good. To be proud of it in the end. Yeah.
Because that's what I think the joy comes from. Is from the doing when it comes through us. Whenever I'm in... Obviously, we have to learn how to receive too. But whenever I'm in take mode, it doesn't feel as good.
Right.
If I'm wondering, what did they do for me? What did she do for me? What did they do for me? It's like never enough.
That's so true. I love that.
There's never enough things other people can do for somebody. But when I'm in doing mode, I feel great.
Yes.
Right?
I totally agree. And I feel like, I feel like a lot of other creatives feel that way. I've never thought about that either. But now that you say that, it's the doing that I'm so passionate about. It's the effort. It's like you want to put in as much effort as you possibly can because it feels so good to do it.
Because we're tapped into it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was reading the other day that everything one person does for free, another person charges for, and vice versa. You can think of anything, right? Like some people charge money to clean your dishes. Other people, like sometimes when I'm stressed, and Yanni will tell you I may not do the best job of cleaning the dishes, but it feels good. It's a de-stressor to do dishes sometimes. Right. Like just to declutter it. It's like, you know what? One dish at a time. It's or same thing with like dancing, right? Like you can get paid to dance. And you can also just dance for fun. Yes. Right? Everything that you get paid for, another person also does for free, which means that there's joy in it. Yes. Right? The action is joyful. Right. Right? And I think as you're expanding as an artist to also do acting now and do singing, I think what you're doing is you're expanding the ways you can feel joy and give joy. Yes. Right? Because there's maybe only so much you can say with dancing. Right? Dancing, you can say a lot with dancing. It's a universal language. Right. But at some point also you can just say something. Right. Or sing it. Yes, right. And I think, what I've fallen in love with about branching out is the challenge, is knowing that like I'm kind of starting over because dance now I feel like I have a good amount of experience. I've learned from people all over the world, taught all over the world. Like, of course, I feel like a journey never ends and you should always be a student, always learning. But to start fully over was something like I'm uncomfortable with. And I've been training in acting for like years now, I'd say about 5 years, but never as a priority. Always on and off because of dance. That was my number one priority, taking up all my time. So I love starting over and having this challenge of like, I want to, like, what makes an actor or actress good? What is it? Like, I want to learn. Again. Yes. It's like,
having to work my way up to understand it, to really believe in it. Like, I'm so excited to learn more about it. I want to put full effort in and conquer that.
I love that. You know, I think a lot of times when people ask, like, why is this, like, rich person still trying to do more? I think it's because at some point you just love the game. Right?
Yes.
Like, when you have joy from achieving and growing, then it's never ending.
Never
like
ending.
I don't think I'll ever be done. Like when I die, when I'm like 100 and something, I want to be halfway through a project.
Right.
There should be some unfinished project when I die.
Yes.
Right. That's like, oh, I was just working on it last week, and then
right. No,
right.
Exactly.
It's like there's never ending things to create.
Yes.
There really is. Yeah.
And I love that. I love like people who are creative, because I feel like we're always like, we can't stop creating. Yes. And I love that, because there's so many possibilities in my eyes, so many projects I still want to do. I have like 5 different projects in my head every day that I think of. Like, I'm like, oh, I could do this. Oh, but what about this? Oh, but this would be better. Like, it's so fun being a creative person, because we have so many ideas, and especially when we can bring one to life, it's like
the best.
It's the
feeling.
best.
Because you know it was in your head.
Yes.
And now it's out there in the world.
You're like,
and you're
I
like,
did it. And like, people are watching, which is fun. People are getting inspiration from it, which is amazing. Like, I love being a creative person.
Me too.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Yeah.
Who inspires you creatively, artist wise?
I think
nowadays, not just who you think sounds good to say because you respect them, but you personally, like, who do you like?
That's a great question. I feel like just artist-wise.
Yeah. It's some kind of art. It could be actor. It could be a musician. It could be...
Ooh, there's so many. I recently kind of looked a lot into Alicia Keys. And, like, she actually did a masterclass on... It's called Masterclass?
Yeah, I love that website.
Yeah. And so I went through her masterclass, and... just hearing her talk about like her journey, the way her mind thinks, and like there's so much passion behind what she's doing, and I feel like it's always like, it's never wavered in any way. Yes. It's always been there, and you can tell by the way she just speaks about what she's doing. Or
she's a real one.
Like, right?
Yeah.
And she's not to mention so talented, like incredible. So I really look up to her singing wise and just as an artist, because what she creates is beautiful and authentic and something she really believes in.
She was also doing the no makeup movement before it was popping.
Right.
Like, I remember this is like before the no filter thing on Instagram. This is like within the last decade or so, where she would go to red carpet events, and she was like one of the first celebrities I saw that said, you know, no makeup today.
Right.
Just to make a point.
Right.
You know, and I don't know. She has this very authentic vibe.
Exactly.
You know, she doesn't feel like she's like trying to be Alicia Keys. No, she is.
Yeah,
she's bringing you into her world.
She is. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. I feel like even just watching her masterclass somehow made me more confident in myself. Like the way she just speaks to people, I'm like, she's so uplifting. I'm like, yeah, and I love that about her. So I find her extremely inspiring.
Yeah. She's got some great songs. There was that one song back in the day called You Don't Know My Name. I don't know if you know that one.
I think I do.
It's a song where in the middle of it, she just has this whole skit conversation about meeting this guy at a coffee shop and wanting to get his number. And it's just... And the whole thing is she's a waitress, and she's like, man, you don't even know my name. She has this crush on this guy. But there's like a whole storyline in the middle of it. And then the end, it comes back around to the hook, and it just has such beauty to it. Like... I don't know. I think great art has to be kind of selfish for the artist. Like, it has to be not, maybe selfish is the wrong word because of the negative connotation, but it has to be authentic to what the artist is feeling.
Yes.
Like
I agree.
What you said before, be yourself. What does that mean? Right. That when you make song, it has to be like what Taylor is feeling.
There's like, I totally agree. There's been like videos I've done or choreography that I'll finish that just doesn't feel right because the feeling's not there. I put the movements together and I think they're okay, but it's like the feeling, the vibe, the energy that is needed to make whatever I just created complete isn't there. So it's not authentic to me. Right. So I've definitely experienced that where I'm like, why doesn't this feel right? Like what I just created, It's the feeling. It's not, I wasn't feeling it. Like,
and there's a difference between getting it done and doing it right.
Yes.
Because to the untrained eye, they could see you put moves together and they're like, oh, that looks great. But you're like,
no, like, I know it's not there. It's not where I wanted it to be. So.
And that doesn't always mean more.
Right.
It doesn't mean go more full out for it to be better. Sometimes it means hold it.
Yes, exactly.
Be more patient, sit in the pocket more, whatever it is, right?
That's, especially now with me choreographing versus when I was younger. It was always, well, I didn't do like a full out move yet, so I need to do a full out move. I didn't do footwork, so I need to do footwork. Like, and now I'm like, whatever I feel.
Yeah.
Whatever I feel. And even if it looks goofy, like I actually think those are my favorite parts in like a dance or a piece is when it's weird.
Yes. Because
it's exactly what the choreographer was feeling. And like, how can you take that as a student and like make it feel right for you? Absolutely. So I love those parts. And I love when it's weird. And I love when you stand there for an 8 count and do nothing.
Yes.
Because it's just...
There's something about that, right? I don't know if people watching this have ever seen this in like a dance class video or whatever, but there's times where the dancer does nothing. And you get the screams. Like, it's the hold.
Yes, right. I think it's because if you can watch someone grab your attention from doing nothing, that is like the biggest skill ever.
Yes.
That, I don't know, it's just, there's been so many dancers I've watched, like Janelle, who I feel like can do nothing and just stare at you, and you're like, she's the best.
Yes.
She's the best.
Just the boom.
Yes.
The way she'll hold it and look, and then,
It's like the presence behind it. You're just like enamored by it. It's like, oh my God, she is amazing. Yeah.
Because we can do a big move doesn't mean we should.
Yes.
And maybe earlier in our careers, we're trying to prove that we can. So we're saying, hey, look, I can do all this stuff. I can, like in the skating world, it's like when somebody does a backflip, right? It's like, well, yeah, the crowd knows a backflip, but just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
It's like throwing a backflip in the middle of, or like throwing turns in the middle of a dance that doesn't need turns. It's like, well, if it calls for it, do it.
Right.
But you don't just throw it for the sake of throwing it.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, because then design is as much what you don't do as much as what you do. Right? Right? Because some of the best songs don't necessarily have the most complicated lyrics.
Right.
They just have the right lyrics.
Yes.
Like I was just listening to that old song, Hotel California. I don't know if you ever heard it. It's this old rock song, and it just has this one line. It's so simple. It's like that line, but it means so much. It said, some dance to remember, some dance to forget.
I love that.
And I was just like,
you're like, yeah.
That can say so much. I could build an entire movie around that.
Right. Which is like crazy. And that's why, like, I don't know, with dance, when it almost is more simple, it leaves room to build that story, to interpret it in different ways. Like, I love dance because it's just movement, but there's so many ways to interpret it, to make a story out of it, to tell a story out of it. And it's kind of like when you do those little simple movements, it's like, what are they, like, it makes you question, like, what are they saying? You want to figure it out, you know?
Absolutely.
So I love that.
There's power in that. There is.
For sure.
I like studying great art. Just whenever somebody's incredible at what they do, I love figuring out why.
Right.
You know how, whether it's a stand-up comedian or actor or a singer or a dancer or whatever, anything.
Right.
Even if you don't follow a certain sport, but you can watch the finals of that sport and just, greatness when you see it.
Yes, exactly.
You're just like, there's something there.
Right. That's why, like, my family, well, it's also because we're Canadian, but we love hockey.
Right.
And I feel like I was just born into having to love hockey.
Yeah.
But I also love watching hockey because we have Connor McDavid. And I don't know if you know hockey, but he is an incredible hockey player. And getting to watch him live in person is something else. Because it's like you're watching this legend you know is going to have a legacy for a long time work. And it's like, even me, I'm like, I can't play hockey. I cannot skate. Like, I can't. But I'm like, why is he so good? How does he train to become that good? What's his mindset? Like, I want to know.
What's his mindset?
Yes, I want to know.
I'm always curious about that.
Right. Like, and I even I love cooking. I'm not that good at it.
Right.
But I'll watch these amazing chefs at work, and I'm like, why are they so good? What are they thinking? Like, I want to know,
Because those things matter.
Yes.
Right? Like we
100%.
we just got into tennis the last couple of years, and we went to go see the US Open in New York, and seeing like world-class tennis players, I was wondering like, what's their routine?
Right.
Like, when did they eat today? Did they nap?
Yes.
Did they take a coffee?
Right.
How much did they hydrate? Did they read a book? Did they listen to podcasts? Or was it nothing? Like, because you know all those things make a difference.
For sure. 100%.
What about you? When you're about to go on stage, do you just...
Ooh, it's changed a lot over the years. I used to, like, when I was little, I would run through the dance like a million times in my head before I went on stage. Don't think that was beneficial. Think that just made me more nervous. But now as I get older, I usually...
Brazzy. Okay. Down, Brazzy. Down. Okay.
Aw, that was so nice. You just wanted kisses, hey?
Very sneaky.
He was like, let me just get under here. But I think as I've gotten older, I'll rehearse a while before, and then I usually pray right before, and if my sister's there, I usually pray with her.
Yeah.
I obviously make sure I'm stretched. I don't really like to talk to a lot of people, just because I feel like it allows me to stay like calm and peaceful, and I have my nerves going, but it's all good nerves. And then when I get on stage, I feel like as a kid, when you have all that excitement, your performance, some things are sacrificed because of it. And so now as I get older, when I go on stage, it's just, I found like my breathing, making sure I'm still dancing the way I've practiced, the way I've wanted to, the way it's supposed to be executed.
Yeah.
So I've never had like a really strict regimen of what I do before.
Is there anything you don't do specifically that you're like, you know what, definitely don't do this before?
I try not, it's so hard, but I try not to overthink or to doubt myself. So that's why I don't really talk, but I'm not thinking too much. It's very like, I'm just stretching. I'm there.
You're not
like
watching TV before you go.
No, I'm not watching TV.
You're not filling your mind with new information.
Yes.
Before you do it.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's just focused on the task that is at hand and not overthinking it. I'm not on my phone. Like, I'm not scrolling through Instagram right before I go. I'm around the people I need to be around. No extras. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost feel like being happy and being focused is the default. It's just that most days we're distracted with other stuff. Right? It's almost like it sounds like what you're doing is not letting things affect the piece, whereas the piece is the norm.
Right.
Like, if you just take away all the distractions, you should be able to find that peace.
Right.
Right. And then or whatever, try to find that peace, right? Whatever that state is, and then you bring that forward. Yes. And it sounds like if you were talking to people, if you were watching TV, you're scrolling Instagram, those things distract you from the natural state, which is just to be there, experiencing it.
Exactly. And I feel like I get the most out of jobs and opportunities, especially ones that are performing on stage, now that I do just do that. I'm just there. Yeah. Like, it's even, I did Lil Nas X at VMAs, and it was so chaotic because we had these like big light packs on us. Right. And it was for the dance, and it was just a lot was going on before. And I still was just calm. I didn't let that affect me. And it was one of my favorite performances because I was just so present and just in it and really taking everything in that was good to take in, not taking anything else, not getting worried about if my light packs didn't work, if it falls off. I was just going to let whatever be. And it was like my favorite experience, one of my favorite experiences ever on stage.
That's a great skill to have.
So yeah, it's very hard.
Being mindful of your mental state.
Right. Yeah.
Being at the cause.
Yes.
Not the effect.
Yes.
Because there's a difference, right? And I think in life, so many things can happen to us. Right. It's easy to be at the effect of just like reacting to everything that's happening in the world. Even through social media and the news. Oh, there's a never-ending list of things that I could theoretically be worried about.
Yes. Right.
There's never a day where there's nothing to be worried about that you could find in the world. Right. So at some point you have to choose to say, you know what? I'm not going to put that in my mind today. I'm going to be here. Right.
And I think I've limited a lot of my social media use. I love connecting with like fans and my followers, of course. And it is a job. It is my job to post, to create content, and I love it. But I do that, and I don't really scroll because I feel like there is so many things for me to compare myself to overthink about, like you said, to worry about.
Yeah.
Whereas now I just do my job. I interact, which I love doing with those people. I do what I love to on social media, and then I'm off.
Yeah.
I don't spend time scrolling. I don't
Smart.
just like and comment and go on for hours. I just can't anymore because I feel like it disturbs my peace, and I don't want that. So
That's very, very smart of you, because it is a straight up addiction.
It's sure.
It's designed to be an addiction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's especially because it is my job, and I do need to stay like up with the trends. I do need to I like to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But there becomes a point when it's unhealthy and it takes up too much time, and it makes you overthink. It can make you doubt yourself, like, oh, this person just did this. Like,
Right.
I should be doing more. Why aren't I doing this? So
especially when you're friends with other people in the industry.
Right.
It's one thing when you're just friends with people from back home. You do anything successful, they're like, yay.
Yeah.
But then when you have friends that's like, oh, he won a Grammy or she's on the series, you're just like, well,
like,
I'm just one of the many successful people
right.
on this thing. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So
The relative success is different to compare.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it gets hard that way, but yeah, like I said, I've kind of learned to spend my time off of it. So
You said that sometimes you pray before doing it.
Yes.
What role does religion play in your life, your family life?
I mean, I've always believed in God and Jesus, and my parents raised me that way. I've felt like at my toughest times and when I've needed help, God has always been there, which is great. Even like when I was like 12 or like, I don't know, when I would go through things, it was just a very comforting thing, and I was able to recognize even at a young age how blessed I was because of God, to have the family I have, to have the career I have. I've just always felt very blessed, and I've always used faith just as, I don't know, as my support. So, and even as I get older, I feel like a lot of people have shared with me their faith and how much religion does play a role in their lives, and it's beautiful, and I love that. So I feel like just recognizing that God's always with me, especially like before I go on stage, it just allows me to be thankful for that opportunity, and like I said, to take it in even more than I usually would. So
faith is a great, I don't know how you describe the word faith, but it's a great thing to have.
Yes.
And it's not even necessarily religious, although it's applied in religion, but just the idea of faith in general.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's faith from God, faith in Jesus, faith in your family, whatever, faith.
Right.
Right? Because otherwise we're acting worried.
Yes.
We're more likely to cause problems in a worried state.
Exactly.
Instead of just, obviously, but having faith is not the same as being careless, right? Like when I go skydiving, I have faith, but I have a parachute.
Right.
I have faith that the parachute is going to work.
Yes.
And there's a backup parachute too.
Right.
You know, that even if I pass out, I have faith that the backup one's going to go, right? Prepared faithfulness, right?
Yes.
Faith with work, as they say.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Taylor, I just got to give you your flowers. You and your family, you guys have been such nice people.
Oh, thank
in all
you.
this time that I've met you. You've been very easy to work with. Brazzy, yes. My dog obviously likes you too. And I want to really commend you, because I remember meeting you when you were younger, and you were so mature for your age, and you were working in a very difficult industry, especially difficult for young people, you know? And the fact that you still have a center about you, like I can feel it in your energy. It's really, it makes me happy to hear.
Thank you.
You know, because I know it's a difficult world and industry to navigate, right? And you've managed to be successful, but you're still like taking time to go to school and hanging out with the fam, and you didn't even have to move to LA. I think you're showing kids out there that it's possible to achieve your dreams and not lose yourself.
Thank you. I love that. I really appreciate that, because that's exactly what I want to tell kids, show kids. But yeah, and thank you. You've always been extremely kind to our family. We've always loved working with you, and we've always been supporting you. So thank you so much for having me speak on your podcast.
Absolutely. Well, Taylor, cheers to everything. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the acting and the music.
Yes, me too. But
we'll check back in, a few chapters later in life and see how it's all going.
Let's do it.
Thank you, everybody. That's a wrap.